What is up, Elliott? This is Tristan Stewart, and this is my Kings Inspires Kings Scholarship video entry. The first inklings of what I now consider to be my call to adventure in life lays in a world-rejecting view that to a certain extent has always been a part of me, even now, but earlier in my teenage years it was much more prominent. My freshman and sophomore year, there was this somewhat overbearing disappointment with the world at large. Those were dark years for me, and I was never a fan of school, and that was mostly because people weren't doing things for the genuine joy of doing them and growing from them and getting what they could out of them. People were taking advanced placement classes because colleges liked that. People were trying to get good grades because, well, their mother would appreciate it, or whatever. And I could never take seriously this prescribed curriculum. I always knew what I wanted to do, and so, like, for example, when I was forced to take a French class, I only saw this as a vexing hindrance. So yeah, I was pissed off a lot early in high school, but then junior year came around, and I started to come out of that. I took this class that was taught by these brilliant teachers to whom I am forever grateful. They introduced me to people like Emerson and Thoreau, and I started listening to a lot of Alan Watts lectures around that time, and I found out about people like Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung. And when I started getting into what these people were saying, it's like they made conscious to me what I had only ever felt and didn't know how to put into words. Like, I would read certain passages, and phrases would pop off the page, not as new nuggets of information, but as things that were already a part of me, but I didn't know how to say. And I bet you know what I'm talking about, and you know how that feels, and to feel this for the first time was just inspiring. They opened up a new depth of seeing the world that I never found anywhere else. They showed me my true internal creative power, which is akin to this more concrete cosmic truth that resides in the substratum of all man, everywhere, in all time. And they brought me to that level, and I know the bliss that I was experiencing at the end of high school, and I want to bring people to that level, because out of this world rejecting view that I was feeling in the former half of high school, in the latter half came this utmost affirmation of life. And to a certain extent I'm a poet, and to a greater extent I'm a musician, but to no extent am I near where I want to be. That's the first way I'm going to serve others, is by becoming the greatest version of myself, the strongest version of myself, as you like to say. And I know that's kind of a cop-out to the question of how am I going to serve others, is by saying, oh, I'm going to serve myself. So in the meantime, I want to become an educator, because I've been such a lover of knowledge and learning how to do new things. I want to teach guitar, first off, because that's my main instrument, but also I want to teach drums and bass when I acquire the skill set necessary on those instruments. And furthermore, I just want to get better at sharing. I want to develop a street set and just go out and busk in a more spontaneous, live environment and see if I can grab people's attention that way. I want to start writing more poetry, getting better at writing, and when I do that, I want to film those videos and put them on YouTube. And I also want to continue my YouTube vlog which I started. I made one video, but you know how life can throw bullshit at you that demands your full attention. Well, let's just say I've been spending some time with the pain teacher in the last several months, and I will continue to grow and share my experiences with that. But that's just the meantime, like the next 5 years. In 10 years' time, I see myself playing a live show that is both fucked up good and good as fuck. Like, music for me has been just as important, if not important, more important than the philosophical side. Like, you know how I said it brought me, like, reading what those particular people had to say brought me to this level of experiencing, but they brought me there through words, by explaining it in a rational way. Music gets me to that same level, but through a whole other medium. It's like almost the opposite side of the spectrum. It gets you there by feeling raw emotion. And so when I combine those together in my live show, people are gonna they're gonna be made to think in ways they never thought. They're gonna feel things to an extent that they've never felt them in that way before. And when they leave, they're going to be different people. Like in the same way that I was a different person after I read The Hero with 1,000 Faces. It's a good fucking book. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for this opportunity. Keep inspiring people like the way you do.